Hi, Claire here for English Academy 2000, and I want to talk to you today about something that's a little controversial, meaning some people really like it, some people do not like it. If it works for you, great, use it. If not, next week I will be talking about something different that hopefully will work better for you. But this works great for me and many of my students, and that is using flashcards to help memorize vocabulary. So I'm going to show you an example of how I use flashcards in my own language study. So any time of day, I have a set of flashcards that I'm working on learning. It's about that thick. There's about 150 cards in here. These are the cards of words that I'm working on learning. On one side I have the target language. In this example I am learning Chinese, so it has Chinese characters on one side. The other side has pronunciation, so how I would say it, and the meaning in English. If you are learning English, your target language, English, would be on one side. Some way for you to remember how to pronounce the word and the meaning in your native language on the other side. The way this helps to memorize is it gives you an opportunity to force yourself to recall or remember the meaning of words. The more times your brain has to try to remember the meaning of a word, the more automatic or the faster you will be able to do it. And eventually you don't have to think about it. And that's our goal. That's fluency in your target language. Now, I use a color system, a lot like a traffic light. I have red words. Those are words I do not know. Those are new words to me. Yellow words are words that are familiar. Maybe I can use that word in a sentence, or I know the meaning, but I'm not sure of the pronunciation, or I know the pronunciation, but I'm not sure of the meaning. And I have green words. Green words are words that I know every time. So this is how I use the cards. I will start with my green words. Now if I pull out my green words, you will notice many of them also have some red and yellow. That's because these words started as red words. As I studied them, they changed color. I'll tell you how I use the color system and when to change colors in a minute. But first, I want to show you how I quiz myself on words. Hold up the words with the target language up. So if you are learning English, English side facing you, and think about what is the meaning. If it is a green word, I should be able to say the meaning correctly every time without even having to check the other side of the card to know if I'm right. Now, when I do green words, I make two piles. All of the green words I should be getting correct every time. But I make one pile for words I know automatically. I do not even have to think about it. And those go in one pile. If I have another word, I know the meaning, but I had to stop and think about it for a minute, those go in a different pile. So when I'm done with my green words, I have two piles. One, words I know automatically. Do not have to think about it. Another pile for words I had to think for a minute. Words that I know automatically get taken out of my pile. So here's my studying pile. This is my pile of words I am not studying anymore. These ones have come out of my studying pile. You need words to come out of your studying pile every day because that lets you put in new words, new red words into your studying pile every day. So you want to keep a balance always, however many cards you feel like you can learn at a time. For me, I have about 150 cards. This is what I think I can effectively study in one day with the small amount of time I have for language study. For you, that number might be higher or lower depending on how much time you're spending studying every day. I do not count to make sure I have 150 cards. I know about the thickness of cards I can handle, Every day I lose probably about 25 words, and I will put in 25 new words that I have learned from lessons or have encountered throughout the day that I have decided I want to learn next. So, when you do your green words, at the end of quizzing on your green words, you have two piles. One pile of words you know automatically, those go out of your studying pile. One pile of words that you know correctly, but you have to stop and think, those stay in your studying pile. Then you can move on to your yellow words. Now, again, in my yellow words pile, I have some words that have a little bit of red. That's because they started as red words that I did not know, and now I know them, so they moved to yellow. Okay? That's why on the top of my card, if I have my cards facing with the target language, there's a specific place on the card for each color. So when I put them in a box or put a band around them, I can look and each color has its own spot. So I can quickly just grab one set of words. When we quiz our yellow words, I do it a bit differently. I will make a correct and an incorrect pile. The correct pile I will set aside and add to my green pile to keep studying. The incorrect pile I will quiz again until I get them correct. So the incorrect pile should be getting smaller and smaller until there are no words you have gotten all the words correct. Then I will do the same with my red words. Quiz myself on the words, make a correct pile and an incorrect pile. The incorrect pile I do again and again until it is down to 0. Now, because you are seeing the same words every day until they become automatic and go out of your studying pile, it should not take many times through your pile every day to complete all of your words. You should not have to look at the same word more than 2 or 3 times in a day before you know it. It helps you learn a lot of vocabulary fairly quickly because every day you have some words falling out, you have some brand new red words coming in, but you also have words in the middle that you study every day, but you're not trying to force yourself to learn them too quickly. Okay? Now, how do words change colors? Do not ever change the color of a word at the end of a studying session, because sometimes you study the word and now you think you know it very well, but you don't know it well enough to remember next time when you have not seen it in a long time. So the only time a word can change color is if it is the very first time you are seeing English that day. So the first time that day you sit down to study English is when you can change your color. Green cards, even if they already have red and yellow, green is the highest level. They do not change color. But when I go to quiz my yellow cards, only the first time that day, if I know the yellow cards in the correct pile and I know them very well, then I will take my green marker and add a little green on the green place and set it in my green pile. I do not let that word come out of my study pile until it has been in the green pile for at least 1 day. Same thing with the red words. When I quiz my red words, I can, if it's the very first time that day and I get my red word correct, my first try, and I'm confident I know that word well, then I will add a little yellow mark and it can go into the yellow pile. Even if you are confident about a red word, do not put it from red to green. Because if it was a word you did not know yesterday, even if you know it confidently today, you need to review it at least 1 or 2 more days before you put it out of your studying pile. One of the reasons for also keeping your green cards in the studying pile is to help build your confidence. If you only see brand new words every day, you're going to get overwhelmed and discouraged. You need to be reviewing words that you're building confidence at different levels every day to keep you moving forward in your language learning. I know that's a lot of information. Feel free to leave questions in the comments section and I will be back to answer them. Like I said, if using flashcards doesn't work for you, there are plenty of other things that you can try, and we will talk about some of those next week. See you next time.